Hey everyone, it's Vinod here from GrowWealth. Today is the Sunday, 5th of June, 2022. I'd like to request you to look at the descriptions below that explains who I am and what I'm doing with this blog of mine, GrowWealth. I try to kind of help others by sharing my learning and experience of investing and trading over the last decade or so. And if you have any questions, you can directly contact me on Twitter at VinodInvest. I put the link on the description as well. And also my email is also on the description below. Without further ado, let me share my screen to show you, to take you through. So this is the website detail, buymeacoffee.com/growwealth. I wanted to share at a simplistic level, so I went with this service, Buy Me a Coffee, because I'm sharing my experience. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do have built up various experience personally investing and trading over the years, having read lots of books and trained myself in various different methods. So this is my way of sharing my learning and experience with you guys. And if you like, please share this video, like this video, and subscribe to this channel so you are notified every time I share this kind of weekly stock market analysis and the watch list review with you guys. And if you're more interested, why don't you come and join our service? All right, now let's go to the stocks. I have in the description detailed what are all the moving averages, the indicators that I use regularly, and the platform. What I tend to do is to identify stocks that are in uptrend, stage 2, based on the stage analysis, and then I filter them through in order to come up with a very focused list of stocks, as you can see here. So this is the third or fourth filtered down list that I'm sharing with you guys. In the 23 stocks that we are going to cover today, there are 5 in each of energy sector and industrial sectors, 4 in healthcare, 4 in technology, 2 in consumer cyclicals, 1 each in consumer, defensive, real estate, and utilities. So as you can see, it's quite diversified across different sectors. Without further ado, let's move on to the charts. So this is the daily chart on the top with volume and MACD at the bottom of the screen. AMCR, it is nice and uptrend. The key moving average is 8, 21, 50 EMAs are all aligned up with nice gap in between. And if you go to the weekly chart, you can see it's kind of breaking out of these two resistance and nicely following through with high volume accumulation in the last 6 weeks. So that is big money coming into the stock. And it's using the T line, which is the 8-day EMA, as support and nicely moving in a trend. AMT, American Tower Corporation. This is a REIT. The high volume is coming in the last few weeks. It's also trying to break out of this previous high here. And there's a bullish engulfing candle day before yesterday on Thursday, which took this price above the dotted lines here, which is the 200-day moving average. And it had a nice follow through on high volume about the 200-day moving average. So this is quite bullish. Cal, this is Caloris, footwear and accessories. Nice gap up, clicker symbol. It kind of on this day here, on the day of, what was this, 24th of May, it finished quite bearishly, but then I believe it's probably the earnings or something, and then it kicked to the other direction, opposite direction, to being really bullish, gapped open and traded around 30% positive that day. And that bullish action has been followed through. It hasn't given up. Whereas the market has been pretty weak, this stock is acting pretty strong, still above the key moving averages, and the gap up is still maintained and quite strong setup on this one as well. If you look at the weekly, it shows how it kind of broke above this descending trend line and gave a huge kind of bullish engulfing candle here, and it's just consolidating at that range. So it's likely, if the market is conducive, it's likely to have further upside action. FLR, Floor Corporation, engineering and construction sector. So let me adjust this so you can see a nice cup breakout here, came and retested, and it's setting up another cup on the right side of the cup, maybe setting up a handle here. And if it breaks above this particular level of 29.04, it's on good volume. That'll be quite a bullish action to look forward to. GFS, it's a relatively new stock, IPO'd in October 2021. Strong positive outlook for this company and the product. It's kind of setting up a nice, it's setting up a base here, not tight, but as you can see, the bases are showing higher lows back in, where was this? End of January, low is lower than the February low, and that is lower than the May low. Whereas the market has been having lower lows, this company is showing good relative strength by having higher lows. And the price is now above the key moving averages. It's just consolidating. And when it breaks above this $60 mark on high volume, that will be a huge positive. And this might be a good one for long term as well. GOGL in the industrial sector, shipping. And there are quite a few shipping stocks that's doing very well as well. The MACD is kind of going down, which shows the momentum might be dying down a little bit. But if you look at the price action and the price movement on the chart, that's quite bullish. So it had a nice uptrend and then consolidated for a couple of months and then resumed its uptrend, now consolidating. So it's still in the nice bullish trend. If you look at the weekly, it gives us much clearer picture of how it kind of had a big run from the later part of 2020 for nearly a year, and then consolidated back to the 50-week moving average, regained the previous high, broke above that, consolidated around that, and then continued its uptrend. Next one is HUSA, HUSA, oil and gas sector. Huge pump here, and then gave back all of that gains, but then it's now consolidated, huge volume coming up, price gapped up about the 50-day moving average, and it's now currently using the T-line, that's the 8-day moving average as support, and then a huge push to the upside of 28% on Friday on really positive volume, and MACD is also coming up. So that is really strong action. NEX, another oil and gas sector, similar action in terms of breakout, and it is consolidated since April onwards, so nearly a month and a half of consolidation breakout. And if you zoom out, it's nearly near all-time high and breakout on above average volume, positive MACD, which is really strong price action here on NEX as well. NFE, utility sector, New Fortress Energy, similar to the previous one. A few months of consolidation from April, a couple of months consolidation and breaking out on higher volume. So weekly might give you a better picture as well. There are some overhead resistance here from early 2021, but if you zoom out, it might give, it gives a picture of a cup with a handle, and it's trying to break out of that now on higher volume. So quite strong and positive in my view. NOC, that's Northrop Grumman on the defensive side of things, aerospace and defense. Wedge consolidation from March onwards. It broke out here, didn't have follow through, came and retested the 50-day EMA, and then on higher than average volume, it broke out on Friday to the upside. So this is quite positive, although the down days here had higher volume, but the price action is positive. So what I would like to see is this bullish move continues and follow through with more volume coming up as it did in this section here. So on, when it broke out of the previous resistance level in end of February, it quickly moved about 20% or so in the subsequent week. And I expect similar action on this name over the next week or so. Semiconductor as a sector is not doing very well, but this one, on semiconductor, is one of the stocks in that sector showing some good relative strength and earnings as well. So as you can see here, back in end of May, I believe. Yeah, all the moving averages that I follow had confluenced here, 8, 2150 and 200, which acted as a support. The price tried to kind of decide which direction it's going to go. It acted as a support, and then with a higher than average volume coming in, the price had moved up from that base. So the moving average is acting as a support here. The descending trend line is still above at around $67 mark, but so far it's acting really nicely, and it's one of the leaders in this sector in my view. PFE, Pfizer. Since the coronavirus numbers have come down, the vaccine play like Pfizer has been going on the sideways consolidation, or slightly bit down, in this case from the end of 2021 onwards. But there are more news acquisition is happening on this name, and it's consolidating nicely above the key moving averages, aligned in the positive direction, and it's more it's looking to kind of go up and resume its uptrend from here onwards. As you can see here on the weekly, it's following the nice uptrend here with higher lows using the 50-week EMA as support. If it breaks out of this level, $55 mark on high volume with MACD coming in, that might be a really good sign for further up move in this stock. Pure Storage, PSTG, high volume coming in that reclaimed the 50-week moving average and the 8-week moving average as well. On the daily, it had a gap up to reclaim the 250. It's kind of consolidating that. It hasn't breached the low of the high volume close here. So that is something to watch. It shows there is a strong up move supported by volume with this gap up. And I would like to see this consolidate and more, and has further up move following in the follow through weeks. Pump, PUNP, Pro Petro Holding, and another oil and gas service sector. Huge run from 2021 onwards till April, and then it went. It kind of met with profit taking, but 30% kind of pullback, and then there's an orderly kind of reclaiming that 50-day moving average and the shorter term moving averages as well, with volume coming in about the blue volumes. The buying days have higher volumes and higher than average volumes. So there's a short term descending trend line. If it breaks above that on high volume, that'll be a good sign for further upside to come in this name. RX, this is a biotech company. If you zoom in, you can see it has been setting a huge base from in the last couple of months, and then with higher volume and momentum coming in, the stock is gradually moving in and now reclaimed its 50-day moving average. It's been on the downtrend ever since it came on IPO, but there are signs that it might be kind of bouncing from the bottom here. And biotech sometimes gives a good opportunity for a good quick move as well. I don't usually trade stocks that are below the 50-day moving average, and because the stock reclaimed the 50-day moving average on higher volume, this is something that I would like to keep in my watch list to see if it's worth kind of adding to my portfolio. RXST, that's RX side, another healthcare side of stocks. So it's gone on this sideways action, but then there's a tight consolidation over the last couple of weeks. And on high volume, it had a really bullish candle on Friday, 14% move on one day. It's a relatively new stock to the market, less than a year old. It came to the market on July 2021, and it's still forming a cup IPO base structure. And it's just broke out of this IPO base here at 1450. So that's why I've added this to our watch list. So if this momentum continues, which I believe it would, considering the huge volume that we have seen on Friday, there are more upsides in the pipeline for the stock. SFL, another shipping stock, nice uptrend, sideways consolidation, and then breakout, sideways consolidation, which is a very healthy action. So it's not running away too much, too quickly and exhausting itself. So it's quite healthy. It kind of, on the weekly, you can see it broke out of this level, and then it's now broken out of this level around $10.8 as well. So nice. And there's that's tailwind behind this sector, shipping and port stocks. So this is one of the industries to watch quite closely as well. Moving on, STKL, packaged foods, is something that I'm seeing as well in a few times in my stock screener. STKL is quite a good one. It had a huge push here and found some resistance at this point at 750, pull back to T-line and the 200-day moving average. I say T-line is the 8 EMA and the 200-day moving average. And then another push up, now consolidating using the T-line and the $7.50 mark as a support as it stands now. The one thing to a word of caution is it had the sellers came in on Friday on higher volume. So that is something to watch. If you look at the weekly, it's just come out of that base here, about the 50-week moving average, and the short-term moving average is also climbing up. So that is positive, but it may need another week or two to consolidate and go up. But if it breaks down on the daily quite suddenly, then you need to kind of protect your position accordingly. UTHR, another biotech stock. It is close to all-time high. If you go to the weekly, you can see from April 2021 onwards, it's gone on in the in a consolidation fashion to horizontal, right? Since April 2021 till May 2022, over a year ago, it went sideways, and then on huge volume, it broke about all of that resistance, reaching its all-time high. With huge volume coming into this name and just taking a pause now and using the T-line as support. So this is one of the strongest looking charts, and it shows how longer term resistance broken out on high volume is quite significant. So it's likely to have further upside based on the price action. So far, as you can see, huge price movement, high volume, MACD reclining into the positive territory as well. BTNR, oil and gas sector, refinery and marketing kind of side of oil and gas sector, energy sector. So this is at all-time high as well. On the weekly, you can see a huge cup and a handle breakout at this point at 1090, and then it continued its uptrend since then. Moving to the daily chart, it didn't just tick up in the air. It is using the T-line and the 21 EMA as support and gently kind of hugging that in order to kind of use as a step further up move. So on Thursday and Friday, strong up move came into the stock with huge volume coming in after a couple of weeks of consolidation. So huge, very bullish setup. The next one is WES, another oil and gas midstream name. It's much more easy to see this stock on the weekly chart. So if you can zoom out to the weekly chart, you can see when it had a huge uptrend from the coronavirus low onwards. And then at 27.30, it hit a peak. Nice consolidation to the 200-week moving average and the short-term moving averages as well. And then now it's breaking out of that on decent volume. Moving on to the daily. So good uptrend, breakout, and the breakout persisted and had a follow-through action so far. So that is strong and that's bullish, because when the market was going down, a lot of breakouts were failing as well. So you still need to continue to monitor because the market is not out of the woods yet, but there are some positive signs coming in, and breakouts holding up and having further follow-through action is quite bullish. And the next one is Wire, W-I-R-E, electronics components. So this has been added because it's kind of consolidating above the key moving averages, pushed back along with the market, but found the 50-day moving average and 200-day moving average as support, and quickly reclaimed all of that moving averages and high volume coming in more recently. If you look at the weekly, so it hasn't pulled back that much, and it's kind of having double bottom, W pattern here, and trying to break out of this level for further action, MACD reclining the positive territory on the weekly. So this is quite bullish. If the stock market as overall market condition sentiment improves, then this will have further upside, as shown here by being above the key moving averages. And the last one for us is ZIM, ZIM, another shipping company. Had a huge run from IPO. It moved about 500% since IPO in about a year and a bit, and then quickly pulled back from close to $100 to $50 or so. So in a quick 50% drop, and then immediately reclaimed all of that moving averages on the weekly using the 50-week moving average as support. And now it's consolidating. So there are higher lows here. So that's the bottom of this push and pullback. And then there are higher lows here, and there. This is a nice constructive action in the stock, which has been a previous winner since IPO, and a strong pullback, 50%, nearly 50% pullback from its all-time high, and now reclaiming all the key moving averages. The key moving averages aligned in the right direction and towards the upward facing direction. So this is an interim pivot here at 71.40. If the volume comes in and breaks out of this, this will be a good indication for further upside to come in this stock. Hope it made sense. But let us look at the overall index as well, S&P 500. Let's go to the weekly, because that's, so on the weekly, it is still in stage 4 downtrend. As long as it reclaimed this 50 EMA, I would consider this to be in downtrend. However, on the daily, it reclaims the 80-day and 21-day EMA. The same could be said for NASDAQ 100 stock as well. It is kind of pinched between the 50 EMA and 21 EMA. And if this hold and reclaim that 50 EMA as well, that is a good indication for further upside to come. Whether it's a bear market rally or a bottom has been found, no one knows. But we have to kind of respond based on what the market is telling us. As of now, it is showing some green shoots of further upside to come, but caution is still advised, because on the bigger time frame, the larger time frame, on the weekly time frame, it is still in the downtrend. Will this 200-week moving average act as support for NASDAQ? We will have to see. Don't put all of your money in one go, because we are still not out of the woods, but there are some good signs, as I have highlighted in the 23 names I've shared. There are some bullish stocks. Certain stocks are at all-time highs, and that tends to give us a good indication of what is having relative strength and where is the money flowing. So you want to be aligned with the direction of the whole market. Hope it makes some sense. And if you like, check out my blog on buymeacoffee.com/growwealth. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or contact me on Twitter, and I put the details in the description. Have a nice week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.